Hey gang, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. I am here with Jason and Kia. Kia is our guest star today, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you guys a little bit about what she does in case you don't know. You may have seen her on YouTube, but we'll get to that in a second. So Kia, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Kia Burwell, formerly Kia Sidbury. When I started pool, I was Kia Sidbury under my former husband's name. But I've married during the pandemic, so now I'm Burwell.
Okay.
From Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised. And I love pool. I love pool. Yeah, okay, what can I say? So, yeah, when we get hooked on it, we don't want to let it go, even when we're frustrated.
That's true. Does your husband play pool?
He does not.
Okay.
He does not, but he is a strong supporter. He always reminds me, I will never get in the way of you in pool. So you can find me at a pool hall at night, 10 o'clock at night, practicing. Mm-hmm. And he has no worries because he knows where I am. He knows what I'm doing. You know, he has no worries. And I don't feel like I have to be, feel like I'm being held back.
Right.
So yeah, he's a very strong supporter, and I really appreciate that. Yeah.
That's outstanding because a lot of guys. I did a call this past weekend with there were 6 of my students on, and with the exception of one guy who's a bachelor, everybody was saying their wives were like, every time I turn around, you're playing pool, you're down there, and I told him, blame me. Say Bryan did it, maybe. But I also mentioned in the call. Now my wife is pretty cool about pool, but this is what I do, between the channel and books and stuff like that. So she can't really complain about it. But I don't think I could handle it. To be totally honest, as a husband, if my wife was at the pool hall for 3-4 hours a night. So I understand how the ladies feel when they're
that as you guys know, the APA is just not 2 hours, right? So if you go to have a pool night, it's not like you leave at 6:30 or 7 and you come back at 9. I mean, you're coming home sometimes at midnight, 12:30, all depending on how everybody played that night. So my wife also has no interest in pools. She doesn't play it at all. I don't even think she knows what it is that I do in this garage sometimes for an hour or 2 at a time. She doesn't come in here. It's separated from the house, so I don't think she knows. If she knows there's a pool table in here, that's about it. And she's heard the name Bryan thrown around once or twice. I gotta go talk to or meet with Bryan right now. I said, who's Bryan? But she's supportive. To a degree, you just, like I said, the APA pool nights could be long. That's kind of like why I only do one night a week. And then I have like a friend or two that'll come and play with me at the house. Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. I definitely play here more than anywhere else. It's funny. I had a question for you, Kia, because you said sometimes you're at the pool hall, at 10 o'clock at night or something, but you have a nice pool table in your house. So I'm curious, I guess, why.
I have a fireplace. I have a fireplace there that's at an angle, so I can't shoot out of there. If I have a rail shot against either one of these walls,
you find yourself using the short stick. Yeah.
So if I want to let my stroke out, I'll go to a pool hall. Yeah. But to be honest, it makes it easy that my husband has a different work schedule. Because as soon as he gets off of work, I'm out of the pool hall. I'm ready to go home and be with my husband.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
So, yeah. But if he wasn't working and I needed that time, maybe I'm training for a tournament. Oh, he has no problems.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Sometimes he'll come and watch me practice. But he doesn't have any issues with that. Yeah.
And Kia, I'm sure you can speak to this. Even if you have a table and you have an ideal situation at home, there are things that you pick up in a pool hall that you don't pick up anywhere else. So how long have you been playing, Kia?
Well, I first picked up the cue, and I really don't count this, but I picked up the cue when I was a teenager. And it was just really a hit and miss kind of thing. We have one aunt and uncle that had a table, 9-foot Brunswick in their basement. And they didn't have any children of their own together, but they had all kinds of games and toys and bicycles and all of that. So every now and then during the summer, a whole group of myself and cousins would hang out at their place. So I know I played on the table. That's as far as my memory would go. But years later, back in 2007, a local mall down the street from my job, Sears or JCPenney shut down. Eventually it opened up and it said Seoul Plaza, spelled like Seoul, Korea. And I never went in that place. And finally one day I said, okay, on my lunch break, I'll get out the office, go check this out. Walked around, it's like a miniature mall within a mall.
Okay.
So I go up the escalator to the second level. Oh, wow, there's an eatery, a hall, all kinds of stuff going on up there. And then next to the hall, it's a pool hall. And I said, oh, wow. The last time I saw a table was in my aunt and uncle's basement.
Wow.
And so I said, okay. I went in there. What time do you open? Told me what time they open. I said, well, good. I'll check this out after work. And every day since then, I was in that pool hall just to do something other than work and go home to my kids.
Right.
You know, and they were already late teen, early adult age. So I needed a recreation, and it just fell on me that way that I'm exploring them all. So, yep. And a few months later, because I was going every day and everybody's trying to, oh, why are you hitting the ball so hard? Well, I had zero knowledge.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Even some of them tried to hustle me. And I'm like, what is this? You know, I don't play. And mind you, I didn't gamble, but they were still trying to play that whole, you know, hustle thing with me. And I said, this is crazy. But a few months later, a couple of guys in the hall said, hey, we got an APA team, APA.
There you go.
And we need players. So I said, okay, good. Joined the team, and it just kept growing from there. And of course, they wanted me to stay a low skill level person, but I've always been competitive all my life. So there was no way I'm going to sit there and just stay at the same level. I had to keep growing, you know.
Right.
Why would you say they wanted to keep you at a low skill level? Just to be on the team, or
of
no? Really?
Course. You know. Okay. You know how
everybody
is.
Yeah, they're sandbagging. There's
exactly.
Really there's 2 or 3 types that are in the league, and some.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was an honest question because I don't. Again, I haven't been in it that long. I mean, I guess what they're trying to keep you on as a 3 or 4 and not wanting you to go to 5, 6 or whatever.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
They tried to get me to throw some games. I'm like, no way, that's not my style. And I actually did it maybe once or twice. Honestly, I did it. And I said, oh no, that's not me. And it wasn't me in the beginning. That's why I always said no. And I said, oh no, how could people do this? Because it ruins your game. Yeah. To me, it just ruins it. So no, that was not me.
And there are people who have been playing the APA for 20 years and they're still 4s, and not even by choice. They just never got any better. But I always reference a team that played out of the same place we did. And, you know, this is going back 15 years ago, but they, every 4 was really a 5. Every 5 was really a 6. The whole team was sandbagging. And, you know, there's a lot of that goes on. People are trying to get to Vegas by any means necessary sometimes. But
well, that's definitely not me. I'm trying to get my skill level up as high as possible.
There you go.
You know, that's definitely the way I try to play. So I've never been close to trying to throw a game to, you know, drop down to a 4 or stay at a 4 or something like that. So, but I have heard people happy come back and say, yeah, they dropped me to a 4 last week. So, you know, I only have to beat this guy 2 times as opposed to, you know, 3 times or whatever it is. But I don't know. I don't look at it that way. So that's not my point of view on being in this league, you know?
Right.
It's definitely to improve and show Bryan that his lessons are worth something here once in a while. So
yeah, we have.
That's why I like BCA over APA because everybody plays to win.
Yeah.
Or APA Masters.
Oh, I love the Masters. That's the greatest.
The rules too. I mean, the rules too, like APA versus BCA, right? I mean, any pocket, any time, you know, stuff for the APA.
But even the APA Masters is, you know, it's
any pocket,
legitimate
anytime,
9-ball, legitimate 8-ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, and you play a combination of 8-ball and 9-ball, and it's outstanding. You can't find it in every area because you can't find it within 50 miles of here. We had a great team at one point and in a great pool hall, but pool halls have a hard time staying in business, and that's what happened. Our pool hall closed down, and that went our Masters. But the Masters is outstanding.
Are you not playing it now, Bryan, because you can't find availability, or just because?
Well, I got in touch with all the league operators for different reasons, and I asked them about Masters division, and no one has it. And frankly, my schedule wouldn't allow me to play if I wanted to today. But yeah, it's definitely worthwhile to anybody watching that plays at a higher level, because what would happen in our region is everybody that was 6 and 7 would quit. They didn't want to play. You know, they weren't sandbagging to keep their rate down, but at the same time, they either got bored or sometimes they couldn't play because, you know, you got the 23-point rule. So they wouldn't get to play. If I played today with my cousins, I wouldn't be able to play. We'd have to go out and find a 2 or a 3 just so that I could be part of the rotation. So it's the Masters.
It's funny you say that because you know, like throughout some of the league play that I've seen, I'll look at the opponent and once in a while I'll see a 7 or something like that. And every time I look at the 7, you know, we've all played 7, 8 games. He's played 2 games so far, maybe 3. So it's like they're really not playing. They're just there on that team to be on that team, but they hardly play.
Yeah, they can. It's tough to get on the table if you're a 7. And you know, good thing my guys sucked for so long because I got to play, but because I was playing at a high level when we went into the APA, and I went in like 4. I want everybody to be afraid when I walk in. You know, where's your 7? Because then they see my bag, and they're like, okay, I think there's 3 Qs in there. That's probably their 7. But they learn who you are real quick. So, Kia, I know you play a lot of different games. Because I've seen on YouTube alone, I've seen you involved in 1 pocket, straight pool, 9-ball, all kinds of stuff. I know you play 3 cushion as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yep. That's actually my favorite game, 3 cushion billiards. Number 1.
Okay. So where did you learn to play 3 cushion?
I was about to get to that. The chairman of American 14.1, Peter Burrows, he taught me. He taught me the basics. The local room got a couple of Gabriel tables from the Expo. And shortly after, he gave a workshop. And I was one of the students in his workshop, so I got the very basics. And then immediately following, we started a league, and he played in it. So I was hooked ever since. I love that game. I don't get to play it often, but I love it. I love it. I love it because anytime I get really close to a point, I mean, like just a hair, the ball misses by a hair, I'm excited because I almost did it. You know, what I saw up here, I almost made it come true on the table.
Right.
So it excites me out of all the other games.
Okay,
all
cool.
the other games. 3
And of course, it's good cross training for all the other games as far as you know, learning the angles. I was obsessed with it. I mean, a lot of people know the story. I was obsessed. for somebody who's never played it on the actual table, when I was in 8th grade, they showed us a video. I talk about it on the channel every now and then. Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Yeah. And I was like, I got to play that game. But I grew up in North Philadelphia. There was no 3-cushion billiards tables in North Philly to learn to play on. Certainly no one that could teach me. But I was messing around with those angles, and I really wanted to learn. I'm going to get off track for a second though, because you mentioned the Expo. Sure. Are you, if they have it this coming year, are you signed up for anything?
I've been signed up since
what's the Expo?
Delay it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billiards Expo.
Yeah, Allen Hopkins Super Billiards Expo. It's a huge event. It's right outside of Philadelphia. I played in it, like 12 years ago. It's the first time I was there. And TAP has their I guess nationals there. There's a number of pro events. It's really cool. It's really cool, but I don't know if it's. I went on to sign up, and actually stopped in the middle because I kept seeing these lines about if the event is canceled and how to get your refund. And I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah, I was like, okay,
I need
do I
to
really
check
want
that
to
out.
sign up and not know for sure?
Right.
And I wasn't going to have time to train for it. I'm like, I was, but it's a great event. If they have it, Allen Hopkins does a great job with that thing. And, I don't know if you've ever been to King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, Kia, but
I've been to the Expo. Yeah, I've been going every year. Yeah, he actually has my entry fee.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
but I don't, I have to check that website again too, and
yeah, I think it's still on as
that because I do have a pretty. Do you know the date? Yeah, I'm not sure because I have a pretty full schedule already for the year.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's in March, but I remember when it was in town. Hopkins came by. What I always talk about, the Fox and the Hound, which used to be one of my favorite places to play pool in King of Prussia, and he came by and was playing 9-ball with us. He's a really, he's a nice guy, but he puts on a great event. I think it's, it's one of my favorite things. I came out of there the first year, and I got on the phone immediately and called my cousin and said, I just came from the Expo. I managed to get out of there spending only $200 because everything you could possibly want to buy, every cue, custom wraps, cases, you name it, pool tables, they're all there, for the buying. And
CDs, DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a really cool event. And I wouldn't play this year because I'm not going to have time to. I'm just off the table too much to even prepare for it. But hopefully they have it. I think it's very important. So the table that you played 3-cushion on came from the Expo.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. Is it heated? Is it a heated table?
It is. It is.
Yeah, so that's a good one. People that don't know, they heat the 3-cushion table so that the balls travel further around the table. And I don't want to get into a lesson on 3-cushion, but it's a pretty cool game. So that's your favorite. What comes next? What's your second favorite, would you say?
Straight pool has my heart as well. Yeah.
Okay. You're old school.
I remember
like straight pool.
Well, that's the newest game I'm learning.
Really?
So yeah. So I started playing pool 2007, 2008.
Right.
I was 38 years old.
Wow.
So I didn't grow up watching pool on TV or any of those things, and didn't know any of the players, the pros, anything. So, but yeah, I remember thinking And I know someone mentioned straight pool, but I remember thinking, okay, that's the next game I need to learn. And then one day a guy shows up at the pool hall. I've never seen him before. And he's watching me play as he's playing. And then he eventually approaches me. It's like, hey, we had a straight pool league happening down the road. You want to play? I think you'll be good for it. I said, I was just saying to myself, self, you need to learn that game. And I almost won my first match. Like, whoa, how did I do that?
Well, you were playing 9-ball before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go from...
I've been playing 9-ball, and mostly 9-ball, 10-ball. Yeah. One pocket here and there. All those years.
What game would translate more to straight pool, 9-ball or 8-ball?
8-ball, probably. But the thing is, you could take a world-class 9-ball player and turn them into a straight pool player. But the straight pool player, I think, has a harder time transitioning to 9-ball because 9-ball, you're going up and down the table a lot more. Than so I think that
more.
Yeah. And if you ever read the book, not the movie, but the book, The Color of Money, which is totally different than the movie. The Tom Cruise character is not even in it. But Fast Eddie, it's 20, 30 years later, and he's trying to get back into pool. And he tries to play 9-ball. And he's a world-class straight pool player. He tries to play 9-ball, and people are like whispering, yeah, he must be a straight pool player. Because the 9-ball game sucked. He couldn't get around it. He didn't have those power shots. But I know a guy, I want to call him a kid because he's that much younger than me, but he's not a kid. But Kia, you probably know Josh Brothers. You know Josh?
I've seen Josh Brothers before in tournaments. I can't remember how he looks, but yeah, I know of Josh Brothers. Yes. I've been in the same tournaments as him.
And Josh is a great 9-ball player and 10-ball player. I saw him running a rack one day holding his phone like this. He's like talking on the phone and running a rack. But I walked into Royal Billiards one day and Josh says, oh yeah, I never played straight pool before, but as soon as the guy showed me some of those break patterns, he said I was 65 and out. And, which is, guys play their entire lives and never run 50 balls. And the first day he plays, somebody teaches him a break pattern and he runs 65 balls. So yeah, I think you could go from 10-ball to straight pool easier than straight pool to 9 or 10-ball. So
is Royal Billiards still open?
Yeah, they are.
What?
They had a change in management.
I actually played oh, they did.
Yeah.
I played my first straight pool tournament there, and I had to play. Was it Matt? Matt Craw.
Okay, I know the name.
Yeah, I had to play him, and it ended up being a round robin because they didn't get enough people out, and I was the only female that played in it. Wow. And yeah, some of those guys weren't happy.
Yeah, they're really nice guys, though. I love playing there. But it is an old school, straight pool, one pocket. I tell people all the time, when I go there, they humor me. If we're running out of time, if somebody's got to leave in a half an hour, they'll play 9-ball or 8-ball with me. But it's straight pool in one pocket there, most of the time, unless you got somebody. Probably the Saturday crowd. I don't go on the weekends as much, but I'm sure there's more 9-ball, the 9-ball group coming in.
So let me clarify why I said some of the guys weren't happy with me. It actually was one particular one because he was in that tournament and I wasn't used to using the beads.
Okay.
So I'm like fairly new to straight pool and I wasn't used to using the beads, and he got so frustrated with me because he would move the beads really quickly. And I said, he's trying to pull something on me. He's trying to slide an extra, and I'm watching and I'm like, oh, what's going on? But he was so used to that. It was muscle memory for him. Yeah. That it was just nothing. And for me, he was just getting a little impatient. It was like, look, I can't do this no more. I quit. And he just quit on me in the tournament. I'm like, dude, you put your money out there and you just want to quit like that?
Was he losing?
I can't remember. Let me not say.
Okay.
I can't recall.
Okay.
I think he was, but I don't. I'm not sure.
But for those who don't know, what we're talking about is over top of the table, there's beads that you move to count score, and there's actually a system to doing it. So you know how many balls have been shot off, so you can kind of check the score and make sure that what's on the table jives with what's on the beads. But yeah, you're right. Guys that play all the time, they're like, you know, it's
I'm like,
nothing
whoa,
to them,
what you doing?
No matter how many times I play, it's the same thing. So one of the things that probably the number one thing that you're known for, at least in my house, is your drills. You do some amazing drills on YouTube, and it's pretty cool watching you you do some of those.
Appreciate it.
Do you practice with drills? I would say would it be most of the time you're doing drills?
When I practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to get the drills in all the time. And if I'm not, I'm practicing straight pool.
Right.
If I'm not doing drills, I'm practicing straight pool, you know. Playing with someone else or playing by myself, and
Right.
just yeah. But I do try to get those drills in because it helps me learn more about myself. Oh, this is how you're actually stroking it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching someone, you know, someone's video. I'm usually getting a drill from someone's YouTube video or somewhere on social media. You know, right now I'm in a stage where I'm going back to doing drills because I haven't been practicing as often. I've been doing more teaching and just dealing with family stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
now that the year has started up and my schedule is full already, I got the WPBA event in Minnesota that's coming up, and I think a week or two before that, I got the regional women's tour, JP Newt. I have that, so I already need to be back on the grind.
All right.
I feel like I'm a little behind because sometimes when I haven't played in a while, then those little bad habits
come
from
back
my
in
earlier. Oh yeah, all the time. And then it's like, okay, now I'm stripping things back down to basic to build myself back up. And then I find that I'm better than I was before I allowed those old habits to creep back in.
Right.
So I'm always having to grind. Yeah.
Kia, quick, simple question, but how many days
I hope
a week?
it's simple.
It is, I promise. How many days a week would you say you pick up a pool cue?
How many days a week?
Yeah.
Since I've been married, 6 days.
6 days? Wow. Okay.
How many hours a day do you
Before
practice?
I was married, after work, and I work 9-hour days, 4 days out of each week. And I have an 8-hour day and a day off. So that day off, I'm playing pool all day. You know, it just varies. You know, I'm trying to get 3-4 hours in the evening. As soon as I get off of this, I'm heading out the door to the pool.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and, you know, just try to get it in as much as I can, you know. Sometimes I'm getting up extra early in the morning just to work on a drill that I was working on, or maybe an 8-ball pattern or you know, usually an 8-ball pattern. I haven't done that in a while, but that, you know, you would think, oh, you're a 9-ball player. Primarily, I'm a 9-ball player. And because of what I compete in, you know, that may not be the right path or the right pattern. So you may want to switch that around. And so from doing that, I learned how to connect. Oh, that ball connects to this ball, connects to that, you know, and I never, all these years I've been playing APA, BCA, I did tap for a little bit, all these leagues, even masters, I never thought about how that connect to this, connect to that. That's why I said I'm always learning, and I just learned that last year.
Wow.
As far as the eight ball side, you know, I'm being honest. Most of my years, I'm teaching myself. You know, I learned from a video.
Right.
you know, reading some article, and then I'll try to translate that to the table, working that out myself, you know. So
You never
Yeah.
you never had a coach, Kia?
I did for a little bit, for about a year or so. Outside of that, it was, I went to this pool school. I had a lesson with a couple of lessons with a couple of pros.
Yeah, it's tough to
That's it.
get really
Outside
good
of that,
with, yeah. It's tough to get really good without somebody showing you something. And
Yep.
you know, you got in at a good time, you know, '07, because there's a lot of, I mean, the learning curve today is a lot different than it was, you know, 30 years ago, when not only was there no YouTube to learn something on, but no one wanted to teach you anything, you know, and or they didn't know what they were talking about, but they did want to teach you. And they just gave you something ridiculous.
Speaking of people wanting to give you all this information, I will never forget a few guys from when I first started. One guy was like, "Look at the shadow, aim for the shadow." And I thought about it, and I said, that doesn't make sense to me, because if you get on a different table, the shadow could be different. And it was so true, because there was one table in the room he would not play on, because there were, instead of the lights going the long way, how they normally should, there were two sets of lights going this way. So the shadows were totally different and maybe less. And he would never play them. So I was like, that doesn't make sense. You really got to watch the information you take from people. Now the guy was like, yeah, aim up here. And I noticed every time he shoots, he's aiming up here. And I said, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about, but are quick to give advice. It's you know, I have a guy that's a student, and he's quick to go to. I don't know if he's going to hit 6 in the short term, but he started at 3, just like Jason, moved up pretty quick. And you know, his team coach in APA, his captain, is a 4. And every week he and Jason, you might, I don't know if you had a situation like this before too, but every week I hear a story about his captain, his 4 calling time to show him, no, you want to play this, and you know, he's already.
Yeah, my captain's a 4 as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on, and a lot of 4s calling timeout. And I remember playing in the APA, and I can tell you, the only time I saw a team captain call time and give somebody good advice was to play safe against me or whoever they were playing. They're like, no, you want to play a safety here. That was the only good advice. It's always you want to aim for this spot here, or you want to aim for this spot here. Like, that spot is different regardless, you know, when different people are shooting, you know, it's not the same spot for me as it is for you. How are you going to point at a spot on the table and tell somebody to hit?
It's hard sometimes to give somebody advice, because the other players on my team, even though I'm still kind of new to pool, they would still come to me, right? They don't go to our 4 captain. They would definitely come to me, and you know, I'm looking at the table. I'm like, well, this is how I would shoot it. But I have to keep in mind that here's a skill level 3 or 3.5 or something who probably doesn't see the shot that way.
Right.
And I'll tell him, they'll take the shot and they do nothing like what I was explaining to them. And then I look bad. B, I feel bad. So, you know, sometimes it is hard to give others advice like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Even when you have all the tools in place, like people always ask me, in the comments usually, you know, oh, can you do a GoPro angle? And I will probably do some GoPro videos, but I always have to explain the same thing to them. Unless you're a Cyclops, you're not seeing the shot the way the GoPro is seeing the shot. It's an illusion, because the camera is up here and the shooter's eyes are down here. So even if you have all the tools in place, you're not seeing the contact point And even if you do, if I shoot a shot and Kia shoots a shot and you shoot a shot and we're all putting high right on that shot, that ball's reacting differently. It depends on your cue, the table, the speed, the balls, you know, so many things change. So you have to be careful, even when you're getting good advice and you got good tools in place to show you, it's still not always what you, you know, what you think it is. So, but before we go, Kia, I want you to, I know you have a couple of sponsors. I want to make sure we talk about that. What kind of cue are you playing with? I know McDermott sponsors you. What kind of cue do you have?
I have a couple of McDermott cues, but I only have one out right now. And I have the Defy shaft. I'm not good on remembering model numbers.
That's okay.
This
That's
is my
beautiful.
this is the one that I shoot with most.
Okay.
The Defy shaft.
Uh-huh.
And I have their McDermott's break jump cue.
Okay.
A stinger.
All right. How do you make out with
person
that?
Only. I love it because I've never had a break jump cue before.
Right.
I've had a jump cue, but I'm like, no, I don't need to carry a lot of stuff. You know, I get knots in my shoulders. So I always try to keep it light. So now I love that I have just shooting cue, break jump cue.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I
With
wish
the
I had
extra
the
shaft,
discipline
I'll carry an extra shaft, you know.
Right. I wish I had the discipline to travel with, you know, one or two. Like when Hopkins came to Fox and the Hound, and Massey came the same weekend, and I got to play with him a lot because we did this workshop together. But each of them showed up with one cue. They had a bag with one cue in it. They broke with it, shot with it, jumped with it, whatever they had to do. I'm like, I wish I could travel that light.
With one.
Yeah. But they also, you know, they have people that are going to repair their cues and replace their cues, and you know, all of that stuff that is a little bit more difficult than the average person. Who are some of your other sponsors that that you're working with? You want to give a shout out?
I have 999's Bar and Billiards. That's my home room. That's the same room that has the 3-cushion billiard table.
Cool.
I give lessons there. The owner is awesome to me. All of my sponsors are awesome to me. I've been with McDermott for about 4 years, maybe going on 5 this year. I'm losing track.
Okay.
But they're awesome. In the Zone Sports Apparel. I got picked up with them, was that last year, year before? See, I'm never good with timing.
Yeah, especially these days, it merges together.
Yeah, especially working from home, and you know, just
you have a
totally different environment now.
You have a lot on your plate, right? It's not only work; it's a husband. You have kids. You have students, right? Do you have a lot of students? I mean, did that take a lot of your time?
I have 2 right now.
2?
No, I have 2 right now. And man, I didn't realize how much, you know, energy it takes to teach. So after I have a lesson, I'm ready to go home. I'm not ready to stay around. I tried it. I went up, let me go ahead and shoot some balls. No, I'm gone. I couldn't do it, but I love it. I love sharing what I know and seeing someone grow, you know. I love it. For me, it's not about money. It's about seeing someone grow, because giving them something better than what I had in the beginning. Because in the beginning, I was putting up a camera, not for YouTube, but just to see what I'm doing so I can go back to the pool hall to try to do better.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my coach to come to New Jersey to give me like at least one in-person lesson, but it's pulling teeth.
There's a better chance that Kia and I will be playing together, shooting a video and all of that before I come to
probably
to Jersey. not that there's anything wrong with Jersey, but
I'm about to take a ride down to Delaware or something, and that's what I'll do.
Come to Delaware anytime you want. That will work.
I'll meet you. I'll meet you at Royal Billiards one night. I'll tell you I'm going. I'll stay in a hotel overnight.
If you come to town, you can come to my house. I probably shouldn't say that on YouTube because there's some people that can't come to my house.
You're gonna edit that later. Don't worry.
But yeah, Jason, you can come to my house because I know I would be welcome at your house. But yeah,
and I do have one more.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I do have one more sponsor that's Straight Pool Eye, and that's a guy named Eric Nelson that wanted to create a events for women that's never been created before. And he actually did have the first event back in the fall, I think it was. It was a week long, straight pool, 10 ball,
wow.
one pocket. I wasn't able to go to during the whole event. I just went that weekend for one pocket and I loved it. I love the concept, and he calls the team Straight Pool Eye. And so he's the last sponsor that I have. And I definitely wanted to plug Eric because his first event was awesome. You had Monica Webb there, and Mary Kenniston, I think I said her last name right. She was helping with commentating, and it was really, really good. Pia Filler I'm thinking about the American 14.1 because I did play that one too. And I had to play Pia. She was in my group. But it was a really good event. My first match I had to play. Was it my first? Yes, I think it was my first match. I had to play Billy Billing, and our match lasted 4 hours long. One pocket, race to 3.
One pocket,
and I think I was getting a little
4 hours.
Race to 3, 4 hours, and I think I was getting a little delirious at the end of some racks. And I said, I can't believe I missed that straight in to win the game. And the match. Said,
after 4 hours.
But yeah. Well, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. A lot of people watching on YouTube don't understand one pocket, but I frankly, people ask me to make videos about one pocket. Maybe you make one, and we'll put it on both our channels because I tell them it gives me a headache. I always forget. I know where my pocket is, but I forget that 98% of the time I'm playing some kind of safety and which side of the table I should be on.
Right.
And I've got all the bank shots and all of that stuff that you need to be a decent player at it, but I just focusing. I can't imagine 4 hours. I would just
it's probably something that's definitely more like golf, right? It's more fun to play than it is to watch. I would imagine, no?
Yeah, if you watch really great players and you understand the game, it's like anything. It's like football or whatever. If you don't understand the game, or the more you understand it, the more you appreciate it, I think. But the average, guy that plays in TAP or APA or whatever, plays 8-ball and he's watching a one pocket match, he's not appreciating, the nuances of what's going on. I was just telling somebody last night or this morning, or whenever it was, that one of the concepts of one pocket that I think hold me back is in one pocket, it's a good thing to get close. Like you spend a lot of time getting close.
Oh, exactly.
I like to see the balls go in, and it's not enough of them watching them go in when you're playing one pocket to satisfy me. So I feel like those guys that play 8-ball on a 3 level, and then they try to play 9-ball and they can't get past the 1 and the 2. That's how I feel when I'm playing one pocket, even though I'm doing okay because I'm getting close, because then you get to run out later. But it's that buildup I have trouble with. Maybe I find that when I and this has happened, that when I've practiced straight pool and someone asks me, "Oh, you want to play some one pocket?" Sure. Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh wow, how did I do that? How did that work for me?" I mean, it was like good things were happening for me. It's amazing how that straight pool actually helps your one pocket game.
Yeah,
it brings down in certain aspects.
Yeah, you're transitioning out of those power shots and into having a good touch, and that's a very that's a very good point. You go from 9-ball to one pocket and you're a mess. But straight pool to one pocket, that's a good that's a good transition. So, well, I have to wrap this up because I actually have a student in 8 minutes. So I really appreciate you being on. Hopefully we can do this again more. And I want you to give your channel a shout out. What's the best way for people to find you?
Just search for Kia Burwell, Burwell.
Well, I got a tip for you. I don't know if you ever Google yourself. I Google myself all the time. But but if you type in Kia and pool or Kia and billiards, that's all you really, I bet they would find you. So yeah, I had an argument with a guy once that didn't know I was a pool player. Somebody brought up pool and he's like, yeah, I can play pool and I'll play you this and I'll play you that. I said, listen, Google Bryan Mitchell pool. I'm done discussing this. He's like, oh, okay. You know? But yeah, you Google Kia and pool or billiards, I'm pretty sure you'll find you. So that's great. Well, thank you very much. Right. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you both for being on. And
you're welcome.
Hopefully we will, like I said, we'll do this again. And I'm sure, Kia, at some point that I will get to Baltimore or you'll get to Delaware. Well, we both know where the other one is, and maybe we meet halfway. I'm not sure what's halfway. But halfway might be like Elkton. We're not playing in Elkton. Anyway. but I will talk to you both soon. Thank you very much.
Have a All right now.
All right. Have a great night. Nice meeting you, Kia. Take care.
Nice meeting you.